And Nigeria is the latest country in sub-Saharan Africa to release its second quarter GDP. We will look at it from foreign investment point of view, and also on our radar is the military coup in Mali. What are the hidden dangers for the West African CFA franc? Matt Kiniger, a senior analyst for sub-Saharan Africa at Docker Frontier London, joins us to unpack all of these. Hello, Matt. Good afternoon. Good to see you.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for having me on the show.
So are Nigeria's latest GDP figures in line with your expectations, and are there any trends that really stood out for you?
Yes, so the latest data for Q2 were broadly in line with our expectations here at Docker Frontier. So we were forecasting a contraction of about 7% year on year during the second quarter, and this contraction of around about 6.1% that we've seen from the data. So it's a little bit better than we were forecasting, but it's still roughly in line with what we anticipated. So in terms of the trends that really stood out for me, so the logistics and transport sector, very unsurprisingly, performed very badly. I think it had its worst performance since 2017, which really reflects the transport difficulties that companies face as a result of lockdowns and transit restrictions. As expected, the oil sector has performed badly because of low oil prices, and the information and communications technology and telecommunications sector has done very well. And this is in line with global trends, as more companies seek to engage their customers via the internet, but also more people are working from home in Nigeria where possible. So that's definitely interesting. In terms of surprises, so we saw that the mining sector continued to do very well. If you exclude the oil sector, mining is looking very upbeat. So it's good news for the extractive industries. But also agriculture has continued to perform very well, and this is very encouraging, and it shows how resilient the sector is in Nigeria, even amidst a pandemic.
Right. Given the severity of the global economic downturn and recent oil price shock, what is your view on the outlook for the Nigerian economy, and when can we expect to see a recovery?
Yes, so it's a really big question on most people's minds when it comes to investment into a country like Nigeria. You know, the downturn has been quite severe, but they want to know when will things get better. So our view is that it's going to be quite a while until the economy starts to grow again. Nigeria is facing one of its biggest external economic shocks that it's faced in almost 30 years. So this is going to force a major fiscal adjustment by the government well into 2021 in our view. So this means that the government will have to cut spending and investment for the next 18 months or so. And so what this means in terms of the GDP growth outlook, so it really does hinge on oil prices and domestic oil production. And also it really does depend on how flexible the Naira will be going forward, whether the central bank will allow the Naira to be a bit more flexible, because this is key in attracting foreign direct investment. But overall, our base case view is that the economy will continue to contract for the rest of 2020, and it will emerge from recession in early 2021. But it won't reach its pre-pandemic size until 2022. So a difficult year ahead, followed by a recovery in 2021.
Now let's talk about the coup in Mali. What does that tell us about the political and security climate in the region, and how much of a risk does it pose to the sustainability of the CFA franc?
Yeah, so this is the other big story that's emerged over the last week or so, last couple of weeks. And so the coup in Mali does certainly reflect the intense political landscape in Mali itself. But more importantly, it reflects the fragility and volatility of the security landscape in Mali and its Sahelian neighbors, such as Niger as well. And so the coup certainly does risk aggravating insecurity across the region, and this does mean that there could be less investor confidence in Mali for the foreseeable future. But it really does depend on how well the new Malian regime works with France and the EU, because these are two bodies that are supporting the fight against extremism in Mali. But until political stability is returned in Mali, our view is that there actually is not a major threat to the CFA franc overall, and this is because France continues to back up or support or underwrite the CFA franc more broadly. Crucially, the French Treasury is still committed to it. Also, Mali's economy, although it is quite significant in the CFA franc area, overall it represents less than the CFA franc, less than 10% of the CFA franc GDP. So the effects of contagion from the coup can be contained and are probably going to be relatively limited.
Now, as we get a clearer sense of the regional fallout from the Mali coup, how directly will businesses be affected in countries that share the CFA franc, such as Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire?
Yes, so Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire are the two major economies that use the CFA franc, and obviously businesses will be concerned about what the coup will mean to them from a day-to-day perspective. So some businesses may face difficulties getting access to foreign currency if they want to place orders overseas or repatriate their earnings from Cote d'Ivoire and Senegal. And this is because the Central Bank of West African states will probably want to limit an outflow of foreign currency over the next couple of weeks until the dust settles in Mali politically. And also, the francophone markets in West Africa are uniquely deeply integrated by sub-Saharan African standards in terms of trade and commerce. And so we may find that businesses are affected, especially if they have cross-border supply chains. And a very good example is the transit industry, obviously, transport and transit. Also the gold industry. So Mali is now one of Africa's largest gold producers. So companies that produce gold in Mali and export them via Senegal or Cote d'Ivoire could be affected over the next couple of months.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Matt. Matt Kiniger is
Thanks
a senior analyst for Sub-Saharan Africa at Dr. Frontier, London.